blues, but nothing ever stopped me from dusting off my shoes. You might think you'll see me falling to the ground, but I threw up my umbrella when rain stops hitting down. Yeah! On a bad day, on a good day, I don't need no sunshine.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever the hell you are. Grab a drink, sit down, we'll have a chat about a few things. Shane here. It's the Saturday, for me, it's Saturday morning. It's 6 o'clock. It's a little bit late. Sorry, I was just gobbing off and having a bit of fun. It's 18th of September, and I am not in lockdown. That's unusual. Melbourne's still a little bit in lockdown. Regional Victoria's not in lockdown. But, yeah, life goes on. Today we're talking about a few things. I'll bring my guest on in just a second. There's a few people here. Looks like Scott Baker was just a little bit early. That's a time zone thing, I guess, unless you're a little bit drunk there, Scott. You got in here about an hour early. David Addison's here. G'day, Dave. Lightning guy. I think I've heard of that David fella, Scott Baker. Mike Goyne, good to see you here, man. Mike Goyne, if you're not on part of that Bloody Legends Facebook group, make sure you get over there and have a look, because that guy is just bloody killing it with photography. He's a gun photographer. Really, really, really impressive. Might even have a chat to you at some point there, Mike, and bring you on here as well. Friday, 5 p.m. here, Scott says. So I dare say Scott's had a few brewskis. Friday, 5 p.m., because I would be. So today we've got a guest, and it sounds like I'm going to bring him on earlier because we're echoing through his audio by the sounds of it. We had a little bit of audio trouble initially, but we'll bring him on. So we'll have a chat to him, and then we're going to talk about what the biggest thing that's happened this week with phone photography, and that is the iPhone 13. And We'll talk about the launch. We'll talk about the 13 and what it can do, and if it's really the sort of upgrade that you should be considering. So anyway, let's bring him in. I don't know if this will work. I just realised that. Will it work? We'll see. No, it didn't work. All three of us are here.
It does.
So I didn't tell you guys that the bloke in the middle was coming on, because he's kind of when it comes to iPhone stuff, I listen to his stuff quite a bit. And how can I get rid of you, Greg? Because I don't want to talk to you just yet.
I can turn my camera off.
Just a blank in the middle.
If I lose you here, Greg, just join again.
Yeah. Okay.
It worked. He's still there. I can still see him down the bottom.
Yeah, but it's not
away from him.
I can see just the two.
Yeah, that's worked. So everyone who's watching this going, this guy is just so bloody unprofessional. He has got no idea what he's doing. And you'd be right. Patricia, how you doing, man?
You see what happened with the headphones on my part.
That's right.
So, yeah. What you gonna do? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay. Looking forward to talk to you about everything.
Awesome. So for those who are not in the Bloody Legends photography group, you don't know who this guy is. But for those that are in that Bloody Legends photography group on Facebook there, you know this guy. You probably don't know his face, but you know his photography. So let's... there's his face.
Now you can understand why I don't do selfies. Look at it.
So you've watched these YouTube live streams before, and you know the sort of questions that I ask people, mate. So in a tweet, so 140 characters or so, tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm a passionate photographer, amateur. I'm not a professional. I don't make money of it. So I started way back, just the passion because of some photos that a friend took, just some portrait. And when I saw the blur background and everything, I didn't know about those things at the time. Seems nice, and I say, hey, why shouldn't I get a DSLR So I went and bought a DSLR, went and studied by myself on the internet, on YouTube.
Mhm.
Uh, Looking back, I didn't do such a great job in the beginning, although taking pictures, I was thinking I'm the guy. But looking
Yep.
now, 10 years, it's like, yeah, those are amateur things. So I went,
Yep.
then I had my son. So the time for DSLR and laptop dropped drastically. So I
Yep.
couldn't do those editings, so I went and did it with the phone.
Mhm.
The first phone that changed the game a little bit was a Samsung S6,
Mhm.
very good one at the time.
Yep.
Then an S8, and then uh, the light came on, Huawei P30 Pro, which changed the photography game from me because they got the zoom, they got a lot of stuff. So
Yeah. Yep.
I upped a little the quality. I liked a little bit more the perspective that zoom can give it to you,
Yep.
and there you can see the results, and you don't see everything because I lost about 1,200 photos 6 months ago.
How so?
Yeah, just being stupid with the tech. You see, I'm not a tech guy. I just
Yep.
deleted from the Google Drive
Oh, yep.
or the
Yep.
cloud. I
Yep.
didn't know it deleted from the phone also. Huh? So they just went.
Ah, right. Yeah.
They
Okay.
just
Okay. Okay.
they just went away. But I still got about 1,000. So you still
Yeah.
haven't seen
Okay.
it. And also, I don't put online everything because I
Yeah.
don't
Of
think
course.
I have a
Yeah.
little bit like a self-criticism, let's say. So I say this is
Mhm.
good, this is medium, this is mediocre. This shouldn't be online. This is below the level. This is just a snapshot. It shouldn't be there.
Yep. Yep.
Which I advise also a lot of people to do that. Even if I mean people at the beginning should post everything, no. But as time goes by, uh, you build a little self-criticism and then say maybe this
Mhm.
is what people
Yeah.
want to.
I remember when I first got into photography, it was when I was a kid, I had cameras and stuff, but not it wasn't anything that I was you would say, oh, he's going to grow up to be a photographer or anything like that. But when I was working in IT, probably 15 years ago, I was in a position where the company that I was working for, they were about to pay me a bonus, and I said, "Well, how about you buy me some stuff instead of paying me the money, so I don't need to pay taxes and all that sort of business." And he's like, "What do you want to? What do you want to get?" And I'm like, well, let's get a camera. I've never had a proper DSLR camera, so I went and bought a DSLR camera, and I've still got the very first photos that I took with that camera, even now. And I think one of the most important things for anyone who's trying to get into photography or trying to better themselves is keep those first photos, because you look back at them and you go, they just suck. They're horrible. And you look back at it and you go, back then I thought they were just the duck's nuts. I thought they were it was a cat's meow.
I
They
know
were the
how it
cat's
is
meow.
because when I first saw the blurred background, that was it. The blurred
Yep.
background, that's all that mattered.
Yeah.
It doesn't
That's
matter
right.
because I first passed to the flower. Everybody has a flower era.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody goes to the flower. So the flower was in the middle, but it didn't matter for me
Yeah.
because the blurred background was there. So there was
Yeah.
a real photography in my mind
Yeah.
because you got
Yeah.
some focus on top.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what you say though about sharing your photos is pretty important. But these days, I think sharing them onto social media, you need to find the right place to do it. I think sharing some things in big open groups can be pretty detrimental to your creative ability, to your creative journey, if you like. If you go into and some of the people who are in here, that they would be belonging to other Facebook groups with like 40, 50, 60,000 members in there, and they post a photo and you look at the comments and you think, how you wouldn't say that to someone if they were standing in front of you. You'd probably get a punch in the nose. But you need to
That's
find the
all
right
right.
group to, yeah, you need to find that right group to, and ask, like in the group that we have, if you were to post photos in there and say, hey, here's a photo I've just taken, let me know what you think, people are going to be respectful about what you've done. And I think that's a good way to learn and a good way to grow as a photographer. It's pretty important.
I'm telling
Um,
you about the group, the Bloody Legends group. because I went on in the beginning. I don't know if we were 50 members. I think in the beginning when I first posted, I just
Oh,
saw
yeah, probably, yeah.
I saw one of your videos. Then I went on, and it's been growing, and it's been the most civilized group I've ever been on. I
Mm,
swear,
mm,
people are real nice,
yeah,
and good quality also. You wouldn't see it in such a small group of almost 500 people. I see some amazing stuff.
yeah. I think how many are we up to? Did you say? I haven't
Almost
looked.
100. I think maybe after tonight, maybe we're gonna have some more. Who knows?
Yeah, it's 488 at the moment.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
pretty
almost
good.
there. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
only what 5 months since I've
Maybe
been.
5 months. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It was
something.
somebody who asked to have a few people had messaged me and say, "Can you have a group just for the community?" I was like, "Oh, it's just something else for me to do." But to be honest, I don't do a great deal with it. There's an admin. I'm not sure if he's watching at the moment. Devo, if you're there, say good day, man. But I can sit here and say, yeah, it's great. It's my group, and I honestly don't do a great deal with it. It's I watch what's going on. I'll like and I'll comment on some photos now and then. I'll approve the requests now and then. But Devo, he's he's an admin. When I first came up with not the idea, someone else came up with the idea. I just put it all together, sort of thing. And he said, if you ever need a hand, I'm happy to help. I'm an admin on a few different pages, and I'm like, yes, do it. And he's been fantastic. I think David Addison, because he's under a pseudonym in the group, so he is in there. He's just not David Addison, because Facebook. He's laughing right now. Yeah, he's laughing right now. He put a post there and he messaged me about, hey, can I put this post there? And I said, yeah, man, go for it. And then Devo saw it there and he took it down because it was like promoting someone else's channel. He's like, Shane, are you okay with this? I'm like, dude, it's okay, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. And I said, oh yeah, by the way, he did actually ask me about that. I just didn't tell you that it's a great group. It really is. It's a respectful group. It's some amazing photography in it, and because of that group, I get to meet people like you to come on here and say good day and catch up. I think it's a really good thing.
Hey, what I can share, what I know, because I don't know much, but what I know I can share with people. I like that to share just
Yeah.
the little that I know. I don't go overboard. I don't go pretending. Also, this is the one of the few groups that I last on. I have another favorite group, but is one of the biggest in Romania when it comes to photography. But
Mhm.
usually, I tend to open my mouth a little bit too much, so they just either kick me out or I just leave. It's one of the two.
I've been there. There was an iPhone photography group where I think I even posted a photo in this live session one time about where someone had this perfectly beautifully photographed moon superimposed over this tree, and they're like, "It's out of my iPhone 8 or something like that." I was like, bullshit, it's not. I didn't say that. I just said it's clearly not. You've done this, you've done this, you've done this. You've even missed a bit of photoshopping right there and circled it, and then bam, get out. Your
Yeah,
honesty
I
and
don't get
criticism is not
it.
welcome here.
No, there is not. There is not. Some people don't take it well. They
So we've
just
got
don't
a
like
few comments here we'll quickly go through. Some people talking about asking questions about the iPhone 13. We'll get to that very shortly. And harsh. Scott Baker says harsh. I'm guessing you're talking about other groups there, man. Jason Peltz, g'day, mate. Mike's in here as well. Smartphone photography training. There we go. Sunt. I don't even know what that is. What does that even mean? I think actually you can tell me what that means, don't you?
Yeah, I can tell you that. That means
Yeah.
a beautiful kitten. A small
Beautiful
cute
kitten.
It is kind of cute, David. Eh? But
David, if you were in Australia, mate, I'd be taking the piss fiercely about calling yourself that, but you're not, so I'll let you get away with it.
it's a Brit, eh? Can do
It's a
whatever.
what?
It's a British one, huh? So he can do whatever he likes. Eh?
I saw he put a comment on one of my videos. It was that graduated filter video, the Nissi filters, and he's like, "You were so harsh and grumpy." I was like, "I wasn't harsh and grumpy." Then I realized he was taking the piss as well.
Yeah.
Because
I know,
I'd
I
given
like
it a
the
bad
British
review.
humor. The British humor is different than the
It
that
is.
kind of
Yeah.
humor. Yeah.
It is, yeah, and even here, the humour that I have is certainly an Aussie sort of humour, but there's a lot more of the veteran community humour in it, where you tend to make light of anything that's kind of harsh. It's just the way you deal with certain things, and so I tend to bring a little bit of that, unfortunately. So,
Yeah, not unfortunate. We
not
need to have
unfortunately,
fun.
absolutely. So, look, what phone are you using now to take photos?
It's always Huawei P30 Pro.
Yep.
It's 2 years and something. 2 years and
Yep.
2 months. So yeah,
Would you be upgrading that at any point to the 40 or even the 50 when it comes?
yeah, the problem is with the Google Play services, because otherwise
Yep.
I would already be there. But
Yeah.
not yet. I'm thinking. I don't know what
Yep.
to choose, because I would choose the S21 Ultra, but
Mhm.
they have the problem that I told you about. They don't have the optical zoom available on Pro mode, and that's important for me because I mostly, like 99%
Yep.
of the time, I use the Pro mode,
Yep.
and with the
Yep.
Huawei I don't have that problem.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a very good phone. There is also Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra on the market. It's a pretty good phone.
Oh,
Has
yep.
all the same specs as Huawei, more or
Yes.
less, but it has the Google Play services.
Yep.
And
We can't get that particular phone here, that M11. We don't get it here. A lot of people comment on so many of my videos saying, you need to try this phone. It's fantastic. And I just can't get it here. It's just one of those things. It's
yeah, also in
not here in Australia.
in Europe also it's not easy to find, because also they went up with the price. Xiaomi,
Yep.
they took advantage of the Huawei position right now, which is weak on the market. So,
Yep.
so they just went and say we can replace them. Just you have to pay us 1,300 euros, something like that.
Yep.
That's a
Yep.
lot of money. So now the iPhone doesn't seem so expensive anymore in this market.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, mate, with all the talking that we've done, you've already covered all the questions that I've got. I'm going to
I'm happy to do it.
bring in some photos.
Oh yeah.
Here's some photos. So, like everyone else, I asked them to send in some photos, and you gave me, I don't know, maybe 12 or so, and said, yeah, take your pick from those. So I did, and this was the first one. I was like, I've got to take that. That's just awesome.
Yeah, that's a funny one. That's a funny one because you can see the mist behind. It was a little mist, and this guy came and he was really angry but hungry at the same time. So he didn't know how to react because I had a little bit of bread. So I just lured him in, and then that's all I could snap. That's because he was moving. So you got the feathered T-Rex right there.
You got the what?
The feathered T-Rex. It's actually like a dinosaur looks. You know the.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you there. Oh, T-Rex. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Just the accent got me, mate. That's all good. Yeah, I quite like that. That's very clever. Here we go. This is obviously your P30 Pro.
Yeah, that's one of the. I only did like 3 nights of astro with this phone, and this was the first of them, and it's pretty good. I didn't know at the time it was because it was not easy. There were a lot of mosquitoes, and no cigarettes on me also, so that was tough. But I got it done in the end. I'm pretty satisfied with that.
I think with all the phones that I've used, the iPhone, which is what started this all for me, because I've always had iPhones, or for a long time I've had iPhones, and being able to capture the stars with the iPhone was something really cool for me. That's what started this channel, and then started branching out into other phones. the Pixel does it really well. It just takes a bloody long time. For a new person, a person who's taking astro photos for the first time, sort of thing, I think Pixel's probably the safest place to start.
Yeah.
That gets a really good photo for the amount of
give
time.
it to you. They just give it to you. You don't have to do anything. Just the button.
Exactly.
That's-
Exactly. And then the Androids, because they've got more pro capability than what the iPhones do, they just produce something better. You just got to know how to use it a bit better. And then with the Huawei platform, I was reluctant to get it because it didn't have Google services. This is the P40 Pro I'm talking about.
I told you, try it. You won't be sorry. Just
You
try
did
it.
actually. You were one of the reasons that I bought it.
Yeah.
And it's bloody amazing. If honestly, if it had the Google services, I wouldn't even be using iPhone anymore. It even transfers to the
I
Mac
always say
easy.
that to people. If Huawei wasn't punished, nobody
Yeah.
would buy anything else because the prices were more or less decent. It's like
Yep.
this cost at the time 1,000 euros, but they gave me a watch,
Yep.
like a smartwatch present. So that
Yep.
that was a nice gesture of them. But the
Yeah.
thing that could do, because I also was a Samsung guy before, and I saw on the
Yep.
photography groups. I remember one time I saw a picture, and the guy was like 100 seconds exposure, and I say, you must have drunk. There is no such thing as 100-second exposure. But then they told me, hey, try Huawei and you're gonna see. So I did, and I did an hour. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing because also they have these pre-installed modes.
Oh yeah.
You saw that the
Yeah.
silky water, the light painting, the
Star Trails.
light trails, star trails.
Yeah.
So that's also just a push of a button. If you're
Yeah.
lucky with the light around, if it's not too
Yeah.
much,
Absolutely.
you can get nice lightnings.
Yeah. Well, with I think when it comes to phones, it's got to be like with. So I teach people to take photos with their new cameras that they buy. So I've got in a camera house that's close to me. When people buy a camera, if it's their first camera, they'll point them in my direction as well, and I'll show them how to use it. And it doesn't have to become complicated, but it can be. Like you can go get a mirrorless camera now, and there might be like 400 or 500 different functions on there. And for a new person, that can be overwhelming, especially if they go, well, I'm going to get into photography and I'm going to go and spend a couple of $1,000s on a camera and then walk away going, that's just mind blowing. I can't get my head around it. But with phone photography, I think it's got to be the first and foremost thing. It's got to be easy. And if it's not easy, because this thing's in your pocket, it's not primarily your camera, it's your way of communicating with people. And if it's not easy to use, you're just not going to use it. And when it comes to those modes that we're talking about here in the Huawei, you've got that silky water, you've got the star trails, light painting. I can't remember what there's another one, but it's just so simple to use. When the even longer was launched for the iPhone, that long exposure app for the iPhone, which is just it's a sensational app. And I remember, I think I even did a video with the Huawei and the 12 Pro using this app. And with the Huawei, it was like put it on a tripod, push the button, and just walk away. That was it.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything else. And it's just, and the results you get are just amazing and ridiculous. And the nighttime stuff, when you compare what I've always considered to be, since ever having it, I've considered that this S21 Ultra is probably the best astrophotography phone because it's such good results almost all the time. And then the Huawei, when I got the Huawei, I went, let's try the ultra wide. It was like mind blown. It was to be able to do.
There's a 1.8 aperture, f1.8 aperture.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, with the ultra wide though, and with astrophotography, if you can shoot ultra wide, that's the best way to do it. Like with
with the P30 Pro, it's not the same. It's f2.2. You can do anything with the ultra wide.
Isn't that interesting? Well, that actually leads us into the next part of what we're talking about here today. Actually, no, it won't. No, it won't yet, because I want to show you this other photo, because this is kind of cool too.
Yeah.
This is the reason that I brought this photo out to show everybody is that, do you remember, you may have seen a video I did recently with the 12 Pro and had the truck there, and I was showing about that light glare that's there. And most phones have it. Like my P40 Pro does it when it's really heavily contrasted lights. Not all the time. It's probably the best phone that I've got for the lack of lens flare. The iPhone 11 and 12 do it badly. The S21 does it for me as well. The Pixel does it for me as well. But this photo here, unless you've edited them all out, it's got no lens flares at all. And that's a pretty high contrast photo. I think that's quite impressive.
Also, the light comes, the phone is in the back of the light. The light doesn't come directly. Like the lights that you see, they are in an angle. So, yeah, maybe that's...
but not all of them. Like the ones from the buildings and stuff on an iPhone, they would absolutely give you lens flare. The ones that are in the background of that photo.
There is some editing on it also, because it's a raw.
I
took a little bit of the highlights, a little bit more.
Yep.
Because it was blown out. But the raw can give you that freedom just to play a little with the light.
Yep.
But it was nice.
Well, we were talking.
It was nice.
Yeah. We were talking about I had an awesome segue into the next part, but I forgot that photo. I'll bring in the man, and hey, that's all kind of weird.
Hey, Greg.
Let's do it this way. Hey, we've changed our spots around. You were in the middle before, Greg. Everyone, this is Greg, as you would. That guy over there. And the reason I brought Greg on here as well is because of the massively over the top Apple launch of all their new products, with all the cinematic drone footage and awesome transitions and stuff. And they told us that they're going to make this many more changes to their lineup. But some of these little changes can be quite big. So we'll have a chat about that. And the reason that I've brought Greg on is because, as you've just heard, Patricia doesn't use an iPhone. So I'm sure we're going to get a nice cross the platforms, I guess, discussion about what Apple have just released. So everyone who's been asking questions all the way through this about iPhone, we'll answer them just in a second. We better answer some of these questions. Oh, sorry. G'day, Greg. I've already spoken to Greg, but not in front of you guys. So it's you probably think I'm just being a bloody rude bastard, which wouldn't be inaccurate. What's the weather like there today, Greg?
Actually, it's nice, about 26 degrees. Sunny.
That's
Celsius, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. In Canada, then? No?
Yeah.
So you're using Celsius?
Yeah.
Ah, nice. But it's nice weather, yeah. 26.
Yeah.
26 is perfect.
Oh, yeah, it's really nice.
There's only a couple of people in the world who don't use Celsius, and there's probably a heap of them in here in the chat, so I won't say too much. I'll just answer this one really quickly. Off-camera flash for iPhone would be great. It already exists. It's going to cost you a little, but the results are insanely good. Go to photo. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. If you're in the Bloody Legends group, I'll post it there later. But if you look at Russell Brown's stuff, I think it could be called Pro Photo. Russell Brown on Instagram, he uses an off-camera flash for his iPhone photography, and it's a strobe. It's a proper off-camera strobe. I think it's called Pro Photo. Just give me 1 second. I think that's what it's called. That is what it's called. So it's called a Pro Photo, as in PROFOTO. And the Pro Photo that I'm looking at here, they're pretty exy for an A1, which is an A1 strobe, which is kind of like a flash, like a what do you call it? Like an on-camera flash, but you can take off. You know what I'm talking about here or not, guys? No. Wait one.
So for those in the chat who are talking about Celsius, just take that number, double it, and add 32, and you get Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's about it. But why would you do that? I mean,
I know, right?
I don't know why they make things so complicated.
It's last time I went to actually every time I've been to the States and I was talk to guys about, I'd get out of the truck, or as I like to just we call them in Australia a ute. You hop out, you go, it's so cold, and it's like snowing and stuff, and I'm like, how cold is it? And they're like, oh, it's 32. I'm like, it's not 32. So this is what I was talking about.
The other way, no? When it goes below zero, like it goes the other way. I don't know how it works. I have.
Yeah, I think it. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if it's negative 35, it's the same. I think
negative
that's
40.
Negative 40, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So either way, that's bloody cold.
32 would be almost minus something, minus 4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So that off-camera flash that we talk about with the iPhone, like something similar to that. So that's off my Canon. Something similar to that will use the Bluetooth or wireless from your iPhone, and you can have it off camera, so you can use your phone here.
You'll have to hold it pretty much right in front of your face, Shane, because the view's cut off. Yeah, there you go.
So I'm looking here at my camera with the viewfinder, and I can see that on there.
There you go.
There you go. So you can put this on the other side of the room and put this in front of you, obviously, to take the photo, and this will pop the flash over there. And it's called a Pro Photo, PROFOTO. But they're in Australia, it's about $1,200. So the results you get from it are just ridiculously good, but you're going to pay for it. You're going to want to have a good need for it to justify it. Like I said, if you have a look at what Russell Brown does, I think on Instagram it's Dr. Brown or something like that. He uses that a lot, and you can see the results that he gets. And if you're someone like him who's doing it for that reason, well, it's probably worth it. But if you're not, I would say go and get something like, one of these little things, a little cube light, and put it where you want the light, because it's going to work almost as well. It's just not going to freeze that motion for you like a flash will. So that was a really long way to answer that question. Everyone's I should have just watched the comments as I was trying to work out what the bloody thing was called, because everyone's answering it for me.
Well, I can't watch the comments because here in the room I can watch the comments. I'm not on YouTube exactly, so I don't. Then I saw the guys were making fun of the mosquitoes because I have the phone also, no? So the phone.
Yep. So my old army nickname is actually Mozzie because of my last name, and Mozzie is short for mosquito. So I saw all that going on, and I thought I'll just throw that in there. So Apple launched its new range. G'day Mario, I just saw you in there. Mario's the developer for Even Longer, if you didn't know. So all you Android guys, that's him. Go and get him and tell him to make something for you. So Apple had its new has launched it. What do they call it? Techtember or something? I've heard people call it. When all the different companies release all their cool stuff, and for me, it was a little bit anticlimactic. And I'll explain why as we go through some of the stuff. But it was such a over the top, like, cinematic extravaganza, and they didn't really release, in my opinion, that much. Like, the iPads all look the same. They're a little bit better internally. The new Mini, I think, is pretty good. That looks quite. Are you an iPad person, Greg?
No. Ever since I got my 12 Pro Max, the size of the screen, my iPad just sat there. Oh, no, actually, no. It goes back to the 8 Plus. And I had an iPad. And once I got the 8 Plus, the iPad just sat there.
Yeah.
So I
Yep.
just got rid of it and never did get another one.
Yep, that's fair enough. Then they had the watch, the Apple Watch 7, and the things that made it different. Like all the rumors around the Apple Watch 7 just weren't there. They didn't come to fruition. Like they were talking about squared off edges and stuff, and all it's really done is like it's made the edge kind of. Can you see that there? The edge kind of comes around. So the wording on the face kind of curls around, like bends around the screen, and I kind of go, for someone like me who does what I do from day to day, that would kind of be a hindrance to me because I wear this sort of thing over it, so I don't get all busted up. I don't know, but I was a little bit disappointed with that as well. Then the phones came in, and I watched Greg and Dave Squared. You like that one?
Yeah,
That's what you should.
yeah.
You should change your show to that. Yeah, the Greg and Dave Squared show.
But we're not always on the three of us, though.
Yeah. As soon as I started watching, I was like, Dave. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about his podcast. Greg's podcast is the iPhoneography podcast. So there's David Addison and Dave. I don't know what's Dave's last name.
Dave Podner.
Podner. So the three of those were talking about what we're about to talk about now. And if you don't want to watch the rest of this live session, just go and have a look at that because we're pretty much talking about the same thing, I think. So there's 4 new phones. There's the 13 Mini, 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max. All right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'll there's a couple of things that everyone that I've watched, so all the big YouTubers who have reviewed this stuff, and when I watched the Apple the launch event, they talked. They even covered this a little bit as well, and you covered it a bit in yours as well. They were saying that all cameras now have night mode. Like, so what I'm talking about on this here right now is just about the cameras and what they can do. I'm not really talking about the 120 megahertz screen and the size of the phones and the battery. I don't really care. I'm interested in the cameras because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But they're talking about all 3 of these cameras now having night mode. Well, mine already does.
Yeah, they already did.
Yeah. But that was
Even the
definitely
front-facing camera.
Oh yeah, it's a new one. Huh?
I've never done a selfie at nighttime.
But
Actually,
you know,
no, that's not true. I have.
What is new is the price. Huh? They went down a little bit. Am I right, Greg?
No, they actually stayed the same as last year.
Yeah.
Huh?
Same.
But,
So
Yeah,
I mean
maybe
that's promising.
yeah, they didn't go up. Also, the others catch up with them, like Samsung, Xiaomi, Oppo, new phones that went above €1,000, $1,000. So now iPhone doesn't seem so expensive anymore. Huh?
Yeah. The things the stuff that they've done with the iPhone cameras and the selling points that they had, and I'm talking about that Pro Video, what's it called? The cinematic video,
Cinematic mode.
Yeah.
cinematic mode. That's probably been the biggest seller for them. Would you agree?
For
Selling
the
points?
13, for the 13 Pro and Pro Max.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, it's the biggest wow factor, like the biggest feature that maybe made people take notice.
Mhm.
I mean, I can go on for an hour about all the different things, but there was so the biggest, there's 2 real big wow factors with the new 13 Pro line. And I don't know, maybe the 13 and the 13 mini might be able to do one of them. And so one of them is cinematic video, and that's for the pros. And that's pretty cool, but it's all computational. The other thing is that they've really, really improved the ultra wide. They've given it a really good aperture, and I think it's 1.7 or 1.8. And
1.8, I think.
yeah, and that's a big jump from the 2.8 2.4, I think it was before the 2.8.
2.2 or 2? Yeah, 2.4. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So that's going to be a massive improvement for like landscapes and stuff like that, and even astrophotography with that camera.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see that from you.
Yeah. Well, I saw that, and I was in the same sort of boat as David Addison, in that if it was me, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I probably wouldn't upgrade. And I want to make it clear that jumping from the 12 Pro Max to the 13 Pro Max, and this is only a 128 gig phone, this one, and that's important because there is differences. I don't know if you saw that. It's with the videoing, but I'll talk about that in a second. If it wasn't for that, I honestly don't think I'd actually upgrade. It's if it wasn't for the YouTube stuff, and the YouTube stuff is all about, well, people are going to be looking for what this bloody thing can do in about a month's time, because that's when people get it here, and so I'll end up getting it. But I don't think I'm going to see a massive difference in anything else on this phone besides, for me, a wider aperture on that ultra wide lens. Because right now, when I take a night photo with the ultra wide lens, it sucks. It's terrible. It's about as good as the Samsung ultra wide lens for astro. It's just not good. But that cinematic mode in the video, I don't know what your thoughts are, but I've seen all the footage that I've seen so far. I'm not that impressed by it, to be honest.
Well, it'll be carefully planned out so that it looks as good as as they can get it to look. I think the jury's out on how good that's going to be for the occasional user or whatever. Filmmakers, maybe they can find a way to tap into get the best out of it. I don't know. I don't shoot enough video to put that much attention to it, to be honest with you. So
sure, I do. Almost all of the B-roll that I do on my YouTube stuff is with my phone. Almost all of it, unless the phone's in the photo, and then it's usually the Huawei doing the video. But so the videoing does matter to me. It's when it comes to that cinematic mode, I think with the examples that Apple have shown us, I think that the scenario that they've put it in is the best possible scenario that this thing can function in. And I think when you start throwing real life scenario at it, it's probably not going to work as well as we hope it does. That might sound a bit harsh, but well, there was on Apple's own video, there was a guy from Apple, and he went into this like production, like a film set, and there was a car there, and there's a guy who was robbing a suitcase or something. And the example that they showed in that, you could see what they were doing. It was changing focus, but it does that now. But the computational photography where they've drawn that line blur from the fellow in the front to behind him on the back side of that guy, it looked weird. You could tell it was computerized. You could tell it wasn't a lens. Yeah. And I think when you go, this is the company that made this, and this is the selling point that they're trying to demonstrate here. And someone who does a little bit with video, I'm certainly no bloody videographer. I'm no guru. But I look at it and I go, that's not good. You kind of missed it there. And that was your video that you're selling this feature on. I thought it was a little bit disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, there was one scene that they showed in that little vignette called Who Done It? And it's where that guy's investigating everything. So I think it was a scene where somebody was sitting down or down near the floor, and the focus was on the face of the person in the foreground. And there was a woman standing in the background, and the focus went back to her, because I guess the guy turned around to look at her, so it left his face, went to hers. And then when it transitioned back again, I mean, just the outline of the woman in the background, you can just tell, this ain't optical. It was not optical at all. I mean, and there's no way it could be, but it's just for some, if these movie makers start shooting, feature length films with these things, it's going to be. I think it's going to be really noticed.
Yeah,
unless
I
they
agree.
do fancy post work.
Jason's actually pointed something out here. I didn't know that the telephoto did that. Did you know that?
No. Yeah, a big upgrade.
So they use the wide to produce the night photo.
Yeah,
I mean,
looks like it.
you know what? If the way these cameras work on this thing here, like with the way the telephoto works, it's not a true telephoto camera, because if the lighting is not bright enough, it's going to use the wide angle camera and zoom in, and it's going to use information from both or whatever to produce like that. That's how portrait mode works. Portrait mode it's the wide angle and the telephoto together, and they do this, I don't know, this magic stuff that they do, and it uses the information from in the central part of the telephoto. Now, how does that work? I wrote about this a couple different times, but they use the central part of the wide angle, and they blend it together with the telephoto. And anyway, they do some stuff, and then that's how they produce the portrait mode images and whatnot. But if you got if it's not very light where you are, and you got your camera open and you go to the telephoto, if you cover up the wide camera, the image is going to disappear, because that's what it's using. So that's probably what they're doing with night mode, is they're using. They're probably using the wide angle camera along with some of the telephoto stuff, maybe, to produce that night shot.
Yeah, that's you're probably
like that
there,
since the 7 Plus.
Yeah, okay. That's
for portrait mode anyway.
Okay, well, that's interesting. We shall see. I find that the more things that are coming out, the cool things that are coming out on phones, like now Patrika's obviously Patrika. There you go.
That's the one.
He obviously uses the telephoto a fair bit on the Huawei. Now, I can tell you now, the Samsung, even when I was using it as my daily carry, the S21 Ultra, it was marketed heavily with that 100 times zoom, and I reckon I've used that less than 10 times, honestly. Because I did some for. It's what? Sorry.
The quality is bad. Even the Huawei with the 50 or 100, the quality is too bad. It's just marketing.
Yeah. Well, you think about, I think about, why would you want a telephoto lens? And I think about, well, here at the full moon time of the month, I know that Facebook feed's going to get filled up with moon photos because it's really good for doing that. For a phone, it's just sensational for doing that. And then I think, what else would you use a telephoto lens for? Well, for bird photography. And I can't remember who it was. It might have been Scott. Asked me about it, or he mentioned it to me, and I went out trying to shoot to photograph some birds, and it's bloody terrible. Like the results you get from it, it's certainly not good. It's nothing that. So my point is that I think with some of the flashy kind of, I won't say gimmicky. Gimmicky is not quite the right word, but there's certainly marketing selling points. I think maybe when these marketing and these companies get together, marketing goes, we're going to sell this. You come up with a way to make it work. And I think that's what's kind of happened with some of this, especially with that telephoto. Like the telephoto on the iPhone, I generally don't use it at all, to be honest.
It's one of my favorite cameras on there.
Yeah, but there isn't
much. I use it a lot.
2.5. 2.5 is not a real telephoto. It's just for portrait mode. You can't get that far, huh?
Hey! It's going up to 3. I think it is.
Now, yeah, it is.
Now,
yeah, that's right. That's a whole half.
Yeah.
And it's the equivalent to a 77 millimeter lens on a DSLR type thing.
Yeah, but
Yep.
that's what I don't understand. I mean, you have a $1 trillion company with an R&D budget maybe the size of some countries. Huawei is out of the picture. Huawei is gone. So you just play it safe. I mean, go for it. Just do whatever. I mean, Samsung copied Huawei because the S21 Ultra is the Huawei P40 Pro Plus. Exactly. I mean, the camera system and everything. Just go for it. Not three. Three telephoto, 3 pair. At least it's a 2.8. That's a good one. At least that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But go, just show us something because people still believe in Apple. Huh?
Oh, absolutely. When
Just
I was actually teaching people in person, when we were allowed to see people, we would have a group of people, and I'd talk about how you can zoom in on the camera. And I say that the zoom on every phone should be at the end of your legs. You want to get closer to something, walk closer to something, and if you can't get closer to something, don't bother. This is a very good point. 30 times zoom on the S21 is probably the sweet spot, and I'd agree it's a sweet spot, especially for the moon photography. Even with 30 times zoom for birds, it still sucked diddly yucks. It's not good. It's about as good as an iPhone pinch zoomed in. It doesn't. I don't know why, but for birds, it's just. And it was Scott. It's just bloody terrible. But the 30 times zoom, I think, for the moon is on the money. I think that's where it's at.
I'll tell you a secret. You have the P40 Pro, and I think it's the same as the P30. On the Pro mode, the image is better on the telephoto. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yep.
The focus and everything, the picture is clearer because the auto just blends it, just makes it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at least
I think
if
with
something would have that. I mean, in Pro mode, if you would have 10 pair, then you would have better results for sure.
Yeah. Yep. The other thing that was just release a ridiculously advanced phone. I've said this so many times. I've said this so many times. I don't think that anybody makes the perfect phone yet. When it comes to the camera, this is my opinion. No one makes the perfect device that has got the best camera with the best system. Because I use it and my environment is Apple, I think that the iOS is, in my opinion, is the best operating system. The camera, if it had everything that the Huawei had, that'd be it. I'd be loving it.
But without the video, because the Huawei video and the P30 list, I don't know if I used it 3 times, because if it encounters object in the middle, it loses focus. It's really disturbing. It doesn't compare to Apple video or to Samsung video. So the video part is not so good, but the photo, it would be like that. I don't know why they don't do that. Just make peace, people. Just make the boss. The money is there. People are
politics, man.
One thing. Come together, like the three of us, no? Because now it's Samsung, Huawei, Apple guy. Just come together. Make the best you can.
Yep.
You got to remember, I'm going to say 5 years ago, what you could get out of a phone 5 years ago and what you can get out of a phone now, it is growing and advancing in technology and capability beyond. I can't think of any other industry that is advancing as quickly as what this is. I don't know where they'll go next, but I just think it's bloody impressive how far they've come in such a short amount of time and what they can do. Now, it's well and good for me to sit here and say no one does it perfectly yet. Well, they'll bloody get there because they're doing it so well already. Andre, I haven't seen him in here for ages.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Jason. That's not the one I meant to do.
Yeah, Andrea.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in here for ages.
He used to put some nice photos. I don't know why he stopped.
I reckon he bought. I got a feeling he bought an A7 III, a Sony A7 III, and and he's gone out to the complicated world of DSLR photography or mirrorless photography. Yeah. He takes some gun photos, that fella. Anyway, so the other thing that was done with the video was that ProRes, and ProRes it's something when I saw it, I thought, why would you do that? ProRes is a codec. It's a way that video is stored, if you like, and ProRes is it's pretty bulky. It's a good one. ProRes is the format, if you like. For those who don't do video, it's the way that like you've got JPEGs and HEIC and RAW files and things like that. And ProRes is a type of video format that is really good for your computer. It doesn't use as many resources on your computer when you're editing for video. The downside is that it's bigger. So it's kind of like a RAW file, I guess. You can work on it pretty well, but it's taking up a lot more room. And something that you didn't really see anywhere, that they launched this thing and saying how good it was. But if you've got 128, so the ProRes is at 4K 30 frames a second, unless you've got the iPhone 12 Pro Max at 128 gig, which in that case it doesn't do it. It only does it at 1080p, which I thought was kind of weird. Because you're paying all this money, and unless you went to the larger storage capacity, you couldn't do this particular function. And in my head, I was like, you're paying for the top of the line bit of kit, but you don't get all the top of the line functionality.
I think it's just simply because if you shot ProRes, like if you shoot ProRes, it's just going to load up your phone because the files are so massive.
Yep. And then the other part of me thinks, why would you do something so advanced like ProRes and put it in a bloody phone? That, to me, just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. To me, it doesn't anyway. What have we got here? Yep, he did get the A7 III. For me, the only thing the iPhone is just boring for taking photos.
If you would have a Pro mode, if you would have a Pro mode and a little more pixels, because still 12 megapixel in 2021, just a little bit, like maybe 20. Come on, be brave.
The number of pixels doesn't matter.
Not so much, but if you want to crop, it does. I mean,
I agree with that. It's the size of that pixel and the combination of the size of the pixel and the number of pixels is the sweet spot. And I think they're on the money. I think that's where they are with what are they talking about now? It's like 1.9 microns, I think it is, for the new one. So that's a big pixel size. For a 12 megapixel, that's going to take some. It's going to take some better action photos than what the 12 does anyway.
More light, at least. Less noise. That would be the idea.
Less noise. Yeah. Well, you're probably going to get that with the larger pixel size. So less noise, I mean. Time will tell if it's going to still govern you to that 1 to 2 second per frame. That'll be we'll have to wait and see, because I'm not about to tell you that in a product launch. The other thing that David touched on it as well, and I'm probably just sounding like David here because I absolutely agree with everything that he said in that. But when I look at a new phone and look at the camera on that new phone, I look at pixel size, I look at aperture. That's about it. That's probably about it, because that's what I care about, because you're still governed by the laws of physics. You can't make an aperture wider with computational photography. It just doesn't work. Doesn't matter how hard you bloody try. So when I looked at the bells and whistles that it has, as far as what do they call that mode where it's like filters, you know what I'm talking about there, Greg? When you're taking a photo, you've got these like preset. It's almost like a filter that you can adjust. I can't.
Oh, you're talking about the new ones?
Yeah.
Oh, that's I forget what they called it exactly, but
it's
I'll look
kind of
it
like
up.
your filters. You've got vivid and you've got like higher contrasting and stuff. But realistically, who's going to use that? Like, I just, does anyone, if you use an iPhone and you use those filters, and what I'm talking about, I'll just open the damn thing up. I'll see if I can find it because I'd hardly ever use it. I don't even know where it is on here. There. Can you see that or not? Those things is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone who actually has an iPhone, do you use that? Just put a comment, because photographic styles. Thank you, Mario. That's what it's called. And it's just, does anyone actually use that sort of stuff? But there's going to be a chat group here that's full of photographers, like mobile phone photographers, and I'm curious here if anyone actually would use that,
No,
because
I think it's for Instagram.
David even said it.
I think it's easy,
Yeah.
the Instagram thing. You don't have to choose the Instagram ones. You just choose the photo.
So what you're saying is that I need to have some people with like lots of makeup and stuff on who do selfies, or bikini-clad car models. I'll use this one.
You know what it is, though? It's like Apple. I always thought, and I always think of it this way: Apple goes by the 90-90 rule. They want to please 90% of the people 90% of the time. If anybody that's in the Bloody Legends group and any group that's like that, we're in the 10%. That's why we're picking the fly shit out of the pepper here, for lack of better words.
You know, Apple.
I'm writing that down.
For me, every year, Apple just didn't do it.
Sorry, what's that, Patricia?
Yeah, because every year I'm just waiting for Apple to do something amazing. Every year. And every time is like, not this year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
And it's we're too picky. We're too fussy because we want more, right? 90% of the people out there, they're happy with it. They think it's great.
We got more. That's my problem, because just do something similar and I will get on board. Just do something similar. Because I know this guy's been punished. Hey, this is political, but I'm not going to get into it. They have been punished because they broke the rule. Because the rule is don't give too much. Just a little bit at a time, so we can last another 4 years with this technology. But Huawei just went in and broke the barrier and say, people, it is 5 per zoom in 2019.
Yeah,
we are still in 2021, and Apple is playing around.
Yeah.
With Huawei out of the picture, that's important, because now Xiaomi is taking their place. It's high up on the market. I think they went over Apple. So what are they waiting for? Maybe they don't care about the mobile division anymore so much. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What David has said here with that photographic styles, that's pretty much what we all just said in a nutshell. And that's a very sarcastic comment. Like,
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell. And Carl, that's that shit'll keep you awake for months.
Yeah. Don't. Ever.
But I'd probably pay to see that.
I don't care. It's just no. When you do it on your show, I still won't do it on mine.
Well, I guess you'll never do it then, because I'll never do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. This is where the show kind of degrades now into just piss taking.
Yeah. Goes into a tailspin.
But I don't care. But in the next couple of videos that I shoot, I'm going to try and put fly shit out of the pepper into a video. So that's gold. That's gold. So who would this upgrade be for? Is it if you've got a 12 Pro, in my opinion, unless you have a YouTube channel and you need the content, so don't bother. That's my opinion. What do you think, Greg?
I'm in the same boat. If you have a 12 Pro or 12 Pro Max, don't spend the money unless, like you say, unless you. I mean, if you got it to spend and throw away, go ahead. But if you are not really, if you're not making content for YouTube, stuff like that, I mean, don't waste your money. But if you have a 12,
on that point, if you have money and want to throw it away, there's a join button.
I'll get it. It's probably right down here.
It's there. I was thinking, I can't go over there. Someone else is going to push it.
But I gotta say something. If you have a Apple 12 Pro, if you have an iPhone 12 Pro, and you want to upgrade, just get the Huawei P30 Pro.
This is the last time that an Android person will be on this channel. But if you're upgrading from something earlier, even an 11, I would say it's probably worth it. I would have said that last year from the 11 to the 12, the Pro series just for Pro Raw, because Pro Raw is it's definitely better, especially for the low light stuff. There's no question about that. And going with the Pro Raw up to the wider aperture cameras on the 13 is probably worth doing, especially for people that are in this group. Not so much if you're bikini clad Instagram model. It's probably not going to make that much of a difference. But you will get, if you are the bikini clad Instagram model, you are going to get some more likes and stuff because you've got hashtag iPhone 13 Pro Max. But that's about it. Well, that's someone I haven't seen here for bloody ages. Super Duty Zach. Otherwise, work on your skills. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I haven't seen you on here for ages, man. What happened to you? You've been gone forever. I haven't seen you. I think I even sent you some stuff from memory. I may be wrong. But anyway, he's Super Duty Zach. I'm guessing his name's Zach because it's just one of those YouTube names or Google names. But way back when I first started this channel, he was commenting on so much stuff. And and the comments that he would make, it was something that I would always listen to because he always made a lot of sense. And for some reason, he's just gone for a while. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he's back. So it's good to see you back, man. Bayo Raw forever. Bayo Raw.
You got to look at the one right before that.
I'll say everything is a game changer. I say game changer a lot here. like having someone from Canada and having someone from Belgium and having someone from Australia.
Romania through Belgium.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
Spread over 2 days at the same time.
That's right.
Almost.
Now we're just talking shit.
Yeah. If we keep it up, it will be. Like I'm gonna be tomorrow also in about 50 minutes. You're gonna be.
You're going to be what? Sorry.
I'm gonna be tomorrow because now it's 11:13. And I'm gonna be in Saturday in 50 minutes or so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're not going to be here for 50 more minutes because we're running.
I know. I think.
It is the same person. So 40 foot. That was the white stone dome glass that you may remember. I did a video with that some time ago, and I had some to give away, and Super Duty Zach was one of them. I had a feeling it was. I'll just going to quickly go and just share this other screen so we can quickly talk about some other photos.
While you're doing that, one thing I want to add about the 13 and
Guess
I don't know if it's on all of them or just the pros, but the macro feature that they've added,
Oh yes.
ultra wide to the ultra wide, it's crap, in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the photos on their newsroom, the Apple newsroom post about the new phones, and you go to I think it's the 13 Pro Max or whatever that shows the ultra wide macro. There's a picture of blueberries, and even the flower one that they showed in the keynote or whatever you want to call it. It's okay in the middle, but then as it goes to the outside of the image, you can tell it's like stretched, and it's not good in my opinion for a macro. I mean, it's good that you can get that close. That's good, but I've seen way better photos from Patrika, macro shots from his phone, and you're not using an external lens or anything, are you?
No. It's just the Pro mode. I use the Pro mode with the ultra wide also, the ultra wide lens. With the focus, I go to minimum, and then I just approach I take the focus by approaching the subject. It goes almost like 3 centimeters away from the subject, but the results are sometimes in good lighting. They are amazing. Not all the time. Sometimes, like the spiders. You saw the spiders?
Yeah.
They are something. They are
Yeah,
something. I answered to David. I don't know if you in Bucharest. I'm from Bucharest, David. So because David is also a Romanian fan. Let's say he likes Romania.
His wife is Romanian.
Yeah. So that's why he loves Romania.
He lived there at one point.
Yeah, he did.
This is when someone says something like that, you'd say, well, his wife's from Romania. You must know her.
Yeah,
you're from Romania.
All 20 million of them. Yeah.
Yeah. When I'd tell people when I was in the army and people would say, oh, my brother's in the army. You must know him. His name's Dave. Yeah, he's got a short haircut and he wears camouflage. Is that right? Yeah, I know him.
Oh yeah, that Dave.
Yeah, that Dave. What's this one? Yeah. Oh,
I agree. I think with Pro it would be much better. On iPhone also, I saw there was a girl was doing macro with the lens. On iPhone, it was amazing because iPhone sometimes in good lighting, clearer picture. I don't know. It's something about it. Not so much noise, because from my experience with Samsung and Huawei, I think Apple takes it better overall in auto mode. I think it does an easy job for you. With Huawei, you just have to go and edit and mess with the colors and everything. Then you can get the result. I think it's like Huawei would be for photographers, and Apple would be for everyday user. Let's say it's much easier. You just push the button and it gives you a good result. Very good.
Yep. I said when I first got the S21 Ultra, I made a comment about the Androids, the iPhone, you've got to be a user, and the Android, you need to be the admin. So you need to know more about it and know how to drive it more. Whereas the iPhone, it's a lot easier to use to get good results. Yeah. That's not the one. Oh, wait there. Yeah, that's right, David. As far as I can see, there's no the Pro and the Pro Max is the same camera. Greg's already answering it. That's what I was talking about. I don't think people here like spiders. When I did that macro video and I had that slow mo of the spider, there was a few people commenting, "I can't believe you got that close to the spider." It was tiny. It was like that big. It was teeny tiny. It like fit under the lens, the diffuser that was on the lens. It was a very small spider. It wasn't
but
jump up and grab me.
The Europeans one, the spiders are innocent next to the Aussie ones.
There's no innocent spider.
I think the Aussie ones are bad.
Oh, not many of them will
Canadian-
kill you.
Canadian ones are just polite.
I know, but yeah, for Canada, of course.
They bite you
Can I-
and then apologize.
Can I sting you just a little bit?
Let's have a look at these. Mushrooms seem to be the go-to thing at the moment.
Yeah, I might have
welcome.
something to do with that. I think I might have something
Yeah.
to do with mushrooms. So, yeah. I
Oh,
put
and
a while back, like a 10 or something photos. So it might have started.
and Scott Baker, your men's jokes, your dad's jokes, is getting out of hand. Out of hand, and you too, Greg. Just letting you know.
Oh, you're no pun. Okay, I'll stop.
So, that's yours.
Well, that's a ripper.
Oh, no, it's a moral. I thought it said mongrel.
Morale. Morale.
That's a mushroom, I'm assuming.
It's a type of fungus, yeah, and they're
Oh, okay.
apparently quite delicious to eat. You fry them up in a frying pan and in butter, and they're really good.
Yeah, right. So you've lit it with a small flashlight. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it was just outside the plant at work where I work, and somebody said there was a morel out there in this like a bed of mulch. So I went out and just put my flashlight on it and took the picture with it. That's back when I had my 10S Max.
Oh, yeah. We'll get out of here because mushrooms seem to be and spiders.
Yeah.
Everyone's going with spiders at the moment. What I'm liking at the moment is that, but the channel, like the YouTube channel, is generally about like low light photography and long exposure photography with the phones. But I love that we're getting like all this sort of stuff. Some stuff that's just not what I generally do on the channel, but all of it comes from the phone. I think that's really quite cool.
There was a thread about that in there. Did you see it?
I think the group is.
I think it was.
It's
Scott put something about competitions or something.
Well,
yes.
about not competitions, just themes or challenges. Not really competitions. Okay. Competition is the wrong word.
So the idea being that every period of time we would go and take something that's purple. We'll take a photo of something that's purple or something like that. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some people talked about how they thought it was going to be more astrophotography or low light photography related. But then there was a nice discussion about people's views on the whole thing, and I think the majority of the people who commented were kind of on the side of opening it up to everything, just like it is, which is a good thing.
Yep. Yeah. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't open it to everything. There's no rule in the group as far as it must be this or that.
Yeah, because your channel is for night and low light stuff, and that's great because that's what it's all about. But as far as the group goes, you've got so much other stuff.
I think, Yeah, I see no reason why we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's a nice.
I like that one.
So I'm more than happy for that to happen. We need someone to run it because I won't. it's just something else I want to add to my list of things to do. I think it's a good idea, and I would probably play along myself. It's a case of someone will need to actually physically do this. What sort of snake is that?
Looks dangerous.
Is Mike still in here? Mike was in here. It's not. Well, you're not in Australia. I was going to say it looks a little bit red belly black, but there's no red on it. I'm not sure if Scott will do it. Done. Scott Baker, you've just been nominated. I'm going to make you an admin of the page, and it's all yours, buddy. Unless I see a comment saying no in the next 3 seconds. Congratulations.
Not factoring in the delay.
It's 2021, mate. We should have like bleeding edge technology by now.
Yeah.
So I'll have a chat with Scott offline, and well done, Ron, for nominating him.
Yeah.
There's certainly, like, the amount of photos that are coming in here now is just ridiculous. We're getting so many. It's so good. That's got to be one of Ron's. It's not one of Ron's. It's very similar to what Ron takes. That's a cool photo.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool photo. So I'll have a chat with Scott, and he didn't say no. He just laughed out loud, which obviously is a laugh of acceptance. So we'll have. I'll come back over here. Where's my mouse? There it is. We'll move out of those. I'll have a chat to Scott and work out the sort of intervals that we want to do this at, as if it's going to be a weekly or a monthly thing. I don't know if we're going to. I do know the thread you're talking about now. I do remember seeing it because they were talking about changing like the header of the page and stuff like that. I'm not sure if we'll do that, mainly because people who are looking for the group, you probably want to see that banner that's there, like that Bloody Legends Facebook. So people who are coming here new knows that's the one sort of thing. Anyway, I'll have a chat to Scott and see what I want to do. And
a pinned post, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see where that goes. I dare say if we do it, we'll do it within the next couple of days. And the guys who are members on this page, I'll be looking at doing the live session for you guys on Monday. But I'll put something on the community tab, and we'll all get together and have a chat about different things there. Anyway, thank you, Petrika.
That's the one. It's like a victory every time. Huh?
Every time.
Yeah.
I'm now going to have to find someone with a really funky name to bring on, just so I can get excited when I get it right. And thank you, Greg. Always good talking to you, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, everybody. Wait there. Someone's asking a question right now. Here we go. This might be something worthwhile answering. Third-party apps will probably bring out the best of the new. Sort of. I think one thing I was going to say is that there's a number of app developers out there, right, in the last iOS update and the iPhone 13 update that have gone, well, there goes my business, because Apple are just doing whatever it's doing anyway. There was an app that's an app that did, I've got the metadata out of the iPhone photos because you couldn't see it before. And then with the new update of the iOS, you just scroll down in the gallery and you can see all the metadata, which is kind of cool. So there goes that app. That's finished. Then you got that Focus Live. Is that what it's called, Greg? Is that right?
Focus Live, yeah.
Yeah, and with what iPhone 13 can do with this cinematic mode, well, there goes that app as well.
Sherlocked again.
Very, very similar. Yeah, Sherlocked again.
Well, because they had focus out before portrait mode.
Yeah. Yep. Well, there we go. Wonder how many people will do this.
Yeah.
Petrika, you're going to get an iPhone.
Maybe next year. I'm still waiting for that one to blow my mind. Yeah, maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. I'll see you all in 2 weeks. I'll talk to you shortly, Scott, about what you're about to do on the Facebook group.
I think he left the planet. Huh?
Oh no, he's still there. And I'll see
Mike,
you guys. Yep.
I just want to say, Mike answered your question, but what kind of snake that was? It's a harmless black racer.
A harmless one.
That's like
Harmless.
an oxymoron. It's a harmless
know,
black
right?
racing snake. Come on. A harmless black racing snake. That's not right.
Snake and harmless, they don't go in together the same set.
Oh, dear, oh dear. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. See you
Thank
in a
you,
minute,
and
Scott,
thanks,
and
everyone.
I'll see the members on Monday. All right. Catch us later. Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
guys.
all.
Bye-bye.